Are you tired of swimming with shoulder pain? Whether you're a competitive swimmer or you just like to swim for exercise, if you get shoulder pain when swimming, then this video is for you. I'm Dr. Dave Candy, and in this video, I'm going to tell you about what causes shoulder pain when swimming, which of the swimming strokes are easiest on your shoulders, and which ones are most difficult, some exercises that you can do to help if you have shoulder pain when swimming, plus some tips that you can use to improve your stroke mechanics so you can swim more comfortably without shoulder pain. Now, if you find this video helpful, give it a like or thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you can get notified of our future videos. So first of all, what causes shoulder pain when swimming? Well, swimming is an overhead sport where you bring your arm up over your head and it puts you at risk for pinching the rotator cuff tendons between the ball of the shoulder and the arch that lies over top of the shoulder. And that can get the rotator cuff tendons inflamed, swollen, or in some cases, even torn. Now, in addition, you develop some muscle imbalances with swimming that make your shoulders rounded, and that makes the shoulder blade more tipped forward. Now, there's a little arch that goes over the top of the shoulder joint, and when you tip that arch of bone, the acromion process, forward, it's more likely to hook down onto the rotator cuff tendons, or in some cases the bicep tendon, and get things underneath the arch of the shoulder irritated. So if you develop muscle imbalances like that from swimming, there are some exercises which we'll go over here in a few minutes that can help improve those muscle imbalances. But which of the swimming strokes are easiest on your shoulders, and which ones are the most difficult? Well, as you might imagine, breaststroke is the easiest on your shoulders because it's the only one where you're really not bringing your arm into an overhead position. And so if you have really bad shoulder pain, but you do want to continue swimming, that's going to be probably the best stroke for you in the short term. But if you want to get back to swimming freestyle, backstroke, or butterfly, then you need to do some things to improve your flexibility in your chest muscles and in your lat muscles so that you don't have as much chance of pinching the rotator cuff tendons as you bring your arm up overhead. So what stretches do you need to do to improve your flexibility so that you can swim better? Well, when you swim, you develop this rounded shoulder posture, which also is common in people who work at desks or students who are studying and working on computers, or if you're texting on your phone a lot. So just our everyday postures tend to play into that position. But when you're doing strokes like freestyle or particularly butterfly, you get strong, overdeveloped chest muscles as well as lat muscles, which help you pull down the water this way. And those muscle imbalances cause your shoulders to tip forward. As I mentioned previously, there's a little arch of bone that goes over top of the shoulder. And as those muscle imbalances pull the shoulder blades down, it makes you more likely to bring that arch down onto the ball of the shoulder and pinch the rotator cuff tendons in between the two. So how do you stretch your chest muscles? I've got a whole nother video covering that topic, but largely things where you go up in the position where you bring your arms up like this, shoulder blades back and arms out to the side. Whether you do that standing with your back up against a wall, or whether you do it standing in a door frame, anything that kind of pulls the shoulder blades back while also rotating the arms back is going to stretch out your chest muscles. And again, I'll link to a different video that shows you better how to stretch your chest muscles or pectoral muscles. Now, the other muscles that are really important to stretch are your lat muscles. They're the big wing-like muscles on your back, and their function is to take the arm from an overhead position and pull it downwards. Now, you do that same sort of stroke as you're pulling the water back this way in either freestyle or butterfly. You bring the water down that way and it contracts the lat muscle. So how do you stretch the lat muscle? Well, to stretch any muscle, you do the opposite of the action that it's designed to do. So if it's designed to go this way, bringing the arm down, what you want to do is bring the arm up. But the lat muscles and the chest muscles are both internal rotators of the shoulder joint. And internal rotation turns the ball of the shoulder in a position where the bump on the shoulder runs underneath the arch of bone over top of the shoulder. And again, that puts you in a position where you're likely to pinch the rotator cuff tendons. So when you are stretching your chest muscles, you're in a position of external rotation. As opposed to internal rotation like that, you stretch your chest muscles in a position of external rotation. The same is true for your lats. You want to go up overhead, but you don't want to go overhead with your elbows out or your thumbs in like that. You want to go overhead with your elbows in, forearms parallel like railroad tracks. And again, I've got a couple other videos that show you a few different variations that you can use for the chest stretches as well as the lat stretches. And I'll link to those either in the cards or in a link down below this video. So the next question is, how do you improve your stroke mechanics when you're swimming? Well, largely that depends on which stroke you're swimming, but let's start out with freestyle. In freestyle, you need to bring your arm up over your head, and if you're doing that largely with your arms without a whole lot of body roll, then that creates a lot of rotational movement or circumduction at the shoulder, where most of the movement is having to happen at the shoulder. Instead, if you are able to rotate your body as you're coming through, you're getting a lot more of that roll with your body versus all with your arms. And so just rolling your body a little bit more will decrease the amount of motion that you use from your shoulder joint when you're swimming. Now, what other tips can you use? Well, you also, when you come over and pull back the water, your arm's in a little bit of an internally rotated position. An internal rotation like this as compared to external rotation. Internal rotation rotates the bump, the greater tuberosity of your shoulder underneath the arch of your shoulder, and it makes it more likely to pinch the rotator cuff tendons. So the longer you can keep that arm in an externally rotated position, where your thumb's back like that, until you come in and you have to pull the water back this way, that allows the greater tuberosity to clear the arch of the shoulder as the arm's a little bit more externally rotated and then coming through. Again, that requires flexibility out of your chest muscles to be able to pull the shoulder blade back, or pull the shoulder blade back as you're coming through over the top until you enter the water. So those are tips for freestyle. Now, what about backstroke? Well, largely it's the same stroke mechanic, just backwards. In backstroke, as you're coming over the top, you want to maintain external rotation, or external rotation, again, as compared to internal rotation. So you clear the greater tuberosity underneath the arch of the shoulder, and as you're raising back like that, you want to allow your body to roll. You don't want to come straight over the top like this, but come up with your arm in midline, roll your body, and then turn your arm as you're coming back for the water so you can push the water forward with your palm. But as you're coming up, you want thumb up, roll your body back, and then turn the palm so that you can enter through the water, cutting through the water with your little finger, and then turn the palm in the water to push the water forward with the palm of your hand. So those are tips for freestyle and backstroke. Now, what about butterfly? Butterfly is absolutely the hardest stroke on your shoulders because you're having to move both arms simultaneously. And so you can't allow your body to roll like you do in freestyle or like you do in backstroke. You have to move both arms symmetrically, and that's where there's a lot more need for having chest muscle flexibility. So you can allow your shoulder blades to come back and then come down over the top and pull back. But the problem with a lot of butterflyers is that when you do a stroke like this, it uses your chest muscles and your lat muscles quite a bit to help pull the water through, especially since you're kicking more with your legs in kind of the butterfly type of kick rather than a flutter kick. So you use your arms to pull the water down, and that makes these muscles stiff and overdeveloped. And so if you don't do stretching exercises for them on a regular basis to help you have the flexibility to get back this way, but then also the power to pull through, then you put yourself at risk for shoulder pain, particularly with doing a butterfly stroke. So one other tip to note is that if you're a competitive swimmer, don't try making these changes in the middle of your season. Certainly talk to your swimming coach about them and integrate them in the off season or when you have some time until a competition. Because anytime you introduce a new stroke mechanic, it's probably going to affect your performance negatively in the short term, but positively in the long term, because you'll be able to create more power, use better efficiency, and prevent shoulder injuries. So work on this in the off season, talk to your swimming coach about it. And if you do need some more one-on-one help for shoulder pain, come see us at More for Life. We'd be happy to sit down with you, help you figure out what factors are affecting your shoulder pain with swimming and what you can do to get relief from it. And if you found this video helpful, give it a like or thumbs up and subscribe to our channel so you can get notified of our future videos. Thanks for listening and have a great day.